This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. GM dropped a bombshell this morning, and it's one a lot of us have been waiting for. An all-electric Corvette based on the Ultium platform is on the way. And I gotta say, I'm a little shocked that it will be based on the Ultium platform. Even more, it looks like it will be the first all-wheel drive Vette. Mark Royce, GM's president, posted on LinkedIn that the Ultium platform's energy recovery system, a patented onboard system that takes the heat generated by the EV system and uses it to warm the cabin, creates more efficient charging conditions, increases vehicle acceleration, and boosts range by about 10%. It's a heat pump, and he says it's a perfect example of how developing a ground-up EV platform like Ultium enables unique features not easily done with a retrofit. But as exciting as an electric Corvette is, the auto industry could be teetering on the brink of an EV crisis. There's just not enough lithium to make EV batteries. Prices jumped 280% last year and then doubled again in the first quarter of this year. And just last week, Elon Musk and R.J. Scaringe from Rivian warned there could be a shortage of lithium. And Bloomberg quotes lithium expert Joe Lowry as saying that demand is outstripping supply. He points out that while you can build a battery plant in 2 years, it takes up to a decade to bring new lithium mining and production up to speed. And he says just look at the shortage of lithium we have right now, with only about 10% global EV market share. As automakers try to ramp up EV production, the shortage is only going to get worse. And while it will not get resolved this decade, he says it will start to look better after that. New car and truck sales in the U.S. market in April are way down from a year ago. Ward's Intelligence predicts that automakers will sell 1.2 million vehicles, far below the 1.9 million they sold last April. The SAAR will drop to only 14 million units, down from 18.3 million. And Ward says the biggest drops are coming from Honda, Toyota, and Nissan, and in that order. Even worse, the trucking industry in the U.S. is slowing down dramatically. According to transportation data company FreightWaves, demand in trucking dropped sharply since early March, and rates in the spot market, which handles on-demand trucking jobs, are also falling. And it's all because people are buying fewer things online. At the same time, fuel prices are surging. A few years ago, it used to cost 25 to 30 cents per mile to run a truck. Now it costs $1 per mile. The Wall Street Journal reports that trucking can be a leading economic indicator, and a fast drop-off like this could be a signal that a recession is around the corner.
We want to know what drives your testing. OTA, connected car, diagnostics, remote testing. Intrepid Control Systems is here to help you work from anywhere. Intrepid Control Systems, driven by your data.
Audi says it wants to use secondary materials, or recycled or used materials, everywhere it can. And that applies to one area of the vehicle you probably don't normally think of: the glass. On average, about 90% of a vehicle's content can be profitably recycled, except for most of the plastic and the glass. Glass doesn't get recycled because of tinting, lamination, and defrosting wires. Audi wants to change that. It's launching a pilot project that will test the feasibility of turning damaged glass back into new windows for vehicles. First, select dealers will send in damaged glass from customer vehicles that's broken up into small pieces to be processed. Then things like glue, plastic layers, and heating wire are removed. Audi says it might also recycle the plastic layers in the future. But the smashed glass granulate is finally sent to another location where 30 to 50% is used to make a new pane of automotive glass. That results in a 30% reduction in carbon dioxide compared to making new glass. Audi says the project will last for a year, and if it's successful, it will start making windows for the A4 e-tron this way. Nissan is showing off the progress of its autonomous vehicles. It demonstrated its latest AV performing safety maneuvers at a test facility in Japan. The car features radar, cameras, and LiDAR supplied by Luminar, which Nissan says it uses to create accurate real-time information about the vehicle's environment to enhance collision avoidance. But while it's showing off the safety aspects of its system and doesn't share what level it's capable of, with a sensor array as extensive as the one Nissan is using, it would suggest to us that it's looking at a system that's at least level 3 plus capable, where the vehicle can do most of the driving. And that would make sense based on its timeline. Nissan doesn't expect to complete development until the middle of the decade. Looks like Russia is making up more lies. It put out reports that Volkswagen is trying to get around sanctions so it can continue making cars in Russia. But Volkswagen denies the Russian reports. VW suspended production in Russia and stopped all imports and exports to and from the country in early March in order to comply with sanctions. Our Russian media report said VW could resume production this summer and that it's considering importing components to Russia through Turkey and Georgia. A VW spokesperson said the claims are false and that, quote, there are no plans by Volkswagen Group Russia to import parts through other countries.
At Schaeffler, we pioneer motion. Electrifying mobility, manufacturing smarter, reducing CO2 emissions, making energy production clean. Schaeffler pioneers motion to advance how the world moves.
To give you an idea of what batteries cost, at least at a retail level, we've got some handy information from Nio. As you probably know, you can lease batteries for your Nio EV in China. Instead of paying for the cost of the battery up front, you pay a monthly lease fee, and then Nio cuts the price of the car by taking out the cost of the battery. So if you buy a Nio with a 70 kilowatt hour battery pack, they knock nearly $11,000 off the price. If you get a car with a 100 kilowatt hour battery, they knock nearly 20 grand off the price. In other words, on a kilowatt hour basis, you're paying $155 per kilowatt hour for the smaller battery and $198 for the bigger one. The monthly fee for the 70 kilowatt hour battery is $150, and the 100 kilowatt hour one costs $230 a month. BMW i4 owners with the latest operating system can now control their Bosch smart home devices while driving using Apple CarPlay and the Siri voice assistant. So, no buttons to push. Users just have to say, "Hey Siri," and this allows them to adjust the lights or temperature at their home, as well as make sure the doors are locked and open or close windows. The original Fiat 500 is also commonly called the Topolino, which translates from Italian to little mouse. But that nickname means so much to so many and had such a big impact that it could be making a comeback. And it could all be thanks to the Citroën Ami. Stellantis is trying to maximize the tiny all-electric platform of the Ami by stretching it across multiple brands. Opel already has one called the Roxy, and now it looks like Fiat will get one soon too. The Ami has 75 kilometers or 47 miles of range, and because it can be classified as a quadricycle in some markets, it can be driven by people as young as 14 years old. Dodge says the next generation of Charger and Challenger will go all electric. Ferrari and Lamborghini are working on their first electric cars, and other performance brands are undoubtedly doing the same. But will hardcore gearheads really go for whisper quiet performance cars? Will they truly give up the exhilaration of the exhaust note? Well, that's the topic for this week's Autoline After Hours, coming up this Thursday. But that's an end for today's show. Please like, comment, or subscribe.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering, boost your game. And by Scheffler, we pioneer motion.